Oh boy, all right. Pittsburgh Steelers have a brand new head coach for the first time since 2007. Did we decide to go young like we did with Chuck Noll, like we did with Bill Cowher, like we did with Mike Tomlin? Oh no. Did we get on the phone? Maybe we contacted the Rams. All right, given they were in the midst of the playoff push, now we know they're no longer in contention, getting eliminated in the NFC Championship. Perhaps we're going to go give a reach out to Shula. Maybe we'll mess around and get, Mike LaFleur. Maybe we could go and get him as well. Maybe we could get on the phone and get Shieldhouse. Maybe we could make a call and see if we could grab Kubiak. Hell, maybe we could go and get anybody who happens to be in their 30s and follow the trend. Nah, you know what we want to do? We want to go get the hometown boy. Let's go and get Mike McCarthy? The 62-year-old Mike McCarthy, who's been fired the last 2 times that he was at a regime, that Mike McCarthy, who we literally watched do the exact same thing and underperform with better offensive talent over in Green Bay with the Dallas Cowboys. But we decided to come and bring him to Pittsburgh for what? Why did we even rush to go and hire this man? I'm very confused. Now, albeit, I am hopeful that maybe it could be something different because I, too, wanted a change at the helm. I felt as if the Tomlinisms of Mike Tomlin was falling on deaf ears. And regardless of the fact that he overperformed with lesser talent in recent years, we were having the exact same season for the last 7 years. So I'm not going to sit over here and bitch and moan about who it is that we hired. However, I'm very curious of the process because what was the rush? Is Mike McCarthy such a sought-after candidate for a head coaching position to where teams were damn near chomping at the bit, foaming at the mouth, rushing onto the phone to make sure they could go and call and hire this man? He was out of football, was he not? Who the hell had this man at the top of the damn call sheet for head coaches? Nobody. We can't wait until the season's done to get in contact with some young up-and-coming coordinators or assistants? We gotta rush the process for what? Now, albeit we're changing the entire regime, I would hope, to where we have a different offensive coordinator. Arthur Smith done left to go to college. Danny Smith is gone, went to a whole different team. Bye-bye, to our D coordinator and Terrell Austin. I never want to see you in Pittsburgh ever again. But this is ridiculous. You mean to tell me we had to rush this entire thing? Art Rooney, I'm looking at you. Because ever since Dan passed away, I don't know what the thought process in this organization just so happens to be. Because what is Mike McCarthy going to provide? Perhaps the push to bring back 42-year-old, soon to be 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers? What is that going to do for us? We're going to run it back with the same guys, the most expensive defense in the NFL that waited until late in December to finally start to figure it out? Is the offense in a situation where we have the tools to go out there and put points on the board? No. So unless we're going to see some moves in free agency where money or draft picks is going to be, spent well, where we'll ultimately end up making somewhat of a blockbuster trade to go and bring some sort of a big talent to the organization, I don't really care about who it is that we bring in because we're going to see the exact same performance. In fact, we might mess around and have a losing season. And for all intents and purposes, if we're rebuilding the appropriate way, I'm all for it. But Mike McCarthy isn't the coach that's going to get us over the hump. This isn't the same situation that you had with Andy Reid, who had success in Philadelphia, losing in 4 NFC championships and then ultimately advancing in one of them to the Super Bowl and losing there, getting a change of scenery, going to Kansas City, finding success, ultimately landing a gold mine in Patrick Mahomes, and wake up, it's a dynasty, and you ended up revitalizing your career. This isn't the situation for him here in Pittsburgh. I just don't see that. We just made a linear move. Statistically, over the course of their careers, Tomlin's actually outperformed McCarthy. Albeit he beat us in the Super Bowl with his Green Bay Packers in Super Bowl 45, but Tomlin's actually done more than McCarthy. Why wouldn't we go and hire somebody young who's unproven at the head coaching position like we have in the past? We've had 3 head coaches in this franchise since '69. They've all been young and in their 30s, coordinators elsewhere who was crushing the game, who are big time, with hopeful for the future, if you will, and they made it happen. We get a has-been? in Mike McCarthy? I don't give a damn if he's from Pittsburgh or not. Unless he's bringing in a coordinator who will ultimately be groomed to take his spot. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? You think Mike McCarthy's the answer? What's the game plan? This is not the hire that any of us actually wanted, nor is it the one that we expected. Art 2's got to figure out what the fuck it is that he's got going on. Because truly, nobody has an idea of what the direction of the franchise is going. Incredibly confusing hire. We literally did not need to rush the process, especially for Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy. Unless we're going to poach a coordinator from elsewhere, somehow steal somebody from the ranks of another team, or maybe you happen to bring in a prodigy, like I said previously, who's going to be groomed into becoming the soon-to-be head coach. This makes no sense. And given the way the organization likes to move, we're going to have a head coach at the helm for at least a decade until folks decide to go in another direction. What did Mike McCarthy do in his last tenure in Dallas? Underperformed with incredible offenses, albeit football isn't just one side of the field, but let's call a spade a spade. How many times did we see those Cowboy teams implode the moment they made it into the postseason? How many mental lapses did we see happen late into the season? Green Bay, situations where they were unprepared in, them NFC championship games, or they absolutely folded. We went from a guy who, for whatever reason, late in the season, in Mike Tomlin, that just can't get it done in the postseason where we getting clapped every single doggone game, to a guy who one side of the football field is never addressed, and for whatever reason, albeit head coaches don't have all the motherfucking power that most people happen to think. But if you recognize you're the head coach, you're the face of the organization, if you will, as it pertains to calling the shots, albeit the GM has to go and get job done and put people in the right spot. If you recognize you ain't get the job done elsewhere, why the fuck would you mess around and get the job done here? It just doesn't make any sense. History has shown us he's incapable of doing that. The stars aligned that 1 year in 2010 for him in Green Bay, and since then, it's been underperformance after underperformance after underperformance, and we hire him. We hire him. I don't know what direction we're going in this organization, bro. I really don't. I have no idea what the plans for the future just so happens to be. It's incredibly confusing. My biggest concern is, what's the game plan for him? Secondly, what was the rush? What was the rush? Chris Shula's right there. He's right there. Matt LaFleur's younger brother, Mike, right there. Skillhouse, right there. Kubiak, right there. Take a look around the league. Youth is the future, albeit Mike Vrabel, 50 years old, going back to a Super Bowl with the same squad that he won 3 championships with, but that's a little bit different. Because what was he? A young guy who got hired where? Tennessee. What did he do over there? Revitalized that franchise, went to an AFC championship, ultimately ended up moving on from different pieces, took a step back, came right back, and now he's in New England thriving. McDonald over in Seattle. DC over there in Baltimore. Ended up leaving there. Here he is 2 years later after taking the Seattle job. He's off to the Super Bowl. Take a look at the coaches who done messed around and lost. Albeit Sean Payton, he's the elder guard, all right? That's a little bit different, right? That's a little bit different. But guess what? He's got his quarterback. Can't say the same thing for Sean McVay. He done came in, young whippersnapper. In fact, he overtook Mike Tomlin's record as the youngest coach to ever win a Super Bowl. He came in and got the job at what, 33, 32 years old? How many NFC championships he's been in? 3? How many times are we going to continually see us make this same problem? Art 2, this is on you. This comes from direct ownership, and I've been saying this all year long. Yes, coaching staff needs to change. Perhaps even the GM to a degree need to go and change. Khan, I'm looking at you. But overall, it starts at the top. Dan Rudy passed away, and the identity of the Steelers done, poof, vanished. Because ever since that man's been put into the dirt, we've been god-awful. We ain't won a playoff game since his passing. And ultimately, he understood the philosophy of the Steelers. I don't think his son quite understands it. It might be time for you to go and pass on the torch of owner, president, whatever the case may be, to somebody else in the family who has a vision for the future. Because Mike McCarthy, in my opinion, that ain't it. And I could be proven wrong. Perhaps he could go out there and prove me wrong. But we already know how we're judged in Pittsburgh, how things are judged in Pittsburgh. It's not, oh, go out there and let's win 12 games. Let's go out there and win the division. It's measured in Lombardis. And the last I checked, you ain't win one since the Obama administration. And all you did was underperform after underperform after underperform. And what the fuck are we going to do with our personnel this year? What excitement do you have around the city? We've got McCarthy. It's time for something new. There's none. Everybody's feeling the exact same way. Confused. Bewildered. Flummoxed. Flabbergasted. Astonished. We have no idea what the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be. I guess this is our way to finally throw our names in the hat of the tanking organization. Maybe we won't be middle of the pack, but I can guarantee you this, we certainly won't be ahead of the pack. Because this is a whole lot of the same shit. And this is the stuff we've complained about for the last 10 years. And for whatever reason, the organization continues to spit in our faces. You better make some spectacular coordinator hires. You better ignite the essence of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Given you're a Pittsburgh guy, I grew up watching the Steel Curtain. I saw Cowers teams go and compete. You better show up and show out, because the standard is supposed to be the standard. But in this case, it's just same old jargon, just in white skin this time. The fuck are we doing? I don't know. You don't know. And evidently in the case of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they don't know either. Hey, I appreciate you watching the entire video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button on the way out if you haven't already. And on top of that, hit that notification bell as well. For whatever reason, YouTube's only showing my videos to 20% of my subscribers. So if you have already turned on the notification bell, turn it off, turn it back on. If you never turn it on, turn it on. I appreciate you.